What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. How's it going? As thunder, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Thunder is definitely going off right outside my window right now. Some severe weather in Texas today. So if I do lose connection to the stream, I apologize ahead of time. Might have to take a weather delay on this. But we're going to go ahead and go as scheduled right now since there is no significant weather in Greece at the moment. But as we get ready to wrap up this part of the Euro tour down here in Greece, southeastern Europe, got a special stream for you guys today. We are doing the VOR DME Circle to Land 09 in Samos. This has been a popular request among you guys. Dimitri himself as well. Huge shout out to you, man, getting me set up with some scenery and helping me make sure everything aligns properly. But it's going to be a fun one down there. I'm going to show you guys how to set up a VOR approach in the Airbus, and we're actually going to fly it in what we call selected. So essentially, I'm going to be flying the airplane in heading mode, tracking a VOR radial. Now, this is a technique that you would use maybe if you lost GPS primary or you were in some part of the world where you didn't have good connection on your GPS and you weren't authorized to do an FMS overlay approach. So you would have to do what we refer to as a selected, and of course some sort of failure. Maybe you incurred some kind of failure en route to your destination, so you have to do what we call the selected approach. Then we're going to break it off, and we're actually going to circle runway 09, which, man, it's a no-joke circle. It is very similar to the one we did in Corfu. However, I think this one might even be, I don't know, it might even be a little bit more challenging. We'll see. It's definitely going to be fun. I hope you guys are ready for the ride. What's going on? McShiggity Pilot in the house. How's it going, man? Sam F, what's going on? It's full send. Yeah, we're doing a full send today, man. If I get electrocuted here on stream, I do apologize for any profanity that I'll be screaming. Hopefully that won't happen, though. Noisimo, what's going on, man? Chris, Dougal, McTavish, good to see you here, man. Welcome on board. Carl Childers, good to see you on stream as well. How's it going? A Slam Cannon in the house. What's up, man? All right, guys. I can't get to every single one of you, but I know there's a lot of you here, so I know you're excited. Let's go ahead and jump into this. We're in the Flight Factor A320. Now, very similar to when we flew into Skiathos. Skiathos, I don't know. Our APU was not able to be on battery start even though we were in the Toliss. So what I've kind of simulated for you is a failure, which you'll see here in my failures. I have APU deferred. Basically what I did is put the fire loop A and fire loop B for the APU inoperative. Now what a fire loop is each system or each engine on the airplane, whether it be the engines, left and right, or the APU, has a fire detection system. And essentially what a fire loop does is it's a loop around the hot section of the engine, and if it gets to a certain temperature, it send a signal saying that, hey, I've detected a fire. Now there's two loops for each system. There's two loops for the APU, two loops for the engines, and if both loops detect a fire, then you'll get a fire warning up in the cockpit. Now, if one loop fails, but the other loop does not fail, you are still authorized to dispatch the airplane. But if both loops are failed for maybe a maintenance issue or something, then you have to defer that item. You can't run it. So that's why I failed both loops in the APU, so we're not going to be able to turn the APU on for the stream. But how did I get the paint on the IAE engines? This is, I just got it off the forums there. The Flight Factor forums, they have a IAE engine paint. I believe, I can't remember, was it OT? I don't know if it was OT that did the engine paint on this one. But that's how I got the paint job. Yeah, of course we're rocking the IAE engine mod, guys. Come on, we can't fly the Airbus without the IAE engine mod. Hands down, the best engines in X-Plane. Well, we can't really see that one there, but let's take a look maybe over here. Oh yeah, and we got the Matavia mods. We've got that glass reflection. You guys liking that? Let's see if I back it up a little bit. Look at that. I mean, that looks juicy. Don't mind the CRJ 200 or whatever the heck that is over there. CRJ 700? Or is that a Poo 100? It's hard to tell. I think that's 200. I don't know my CRJs anymore, man. That's pretty sad. I don't know my CRJs. That's got to be a 200, right? Maybe it just looks small. Maybe that is a 700. That's a 700. That's definitely a 700. It just looks small to me for some reason. Maybe the scaling is off. Anyway. Electrocuted Ryan Provencher, what's going on, man? Yeah, there's a crazy lightning storm outside my house right now. So this is going to be a shorter flight, guys. So because it's going to be a shorter flight, I'm doing a full cold and dark start for you And like I said, we don't have any APU usage. So we're going to set up the approach on the ground. Matter of fact, I have also downloaded a separate document here. This is kind of shows a little bit clearer image of what we're going to be doing in Samos. And what we have to do, I'm going to show you both ways. We're going to line it up with the FMS, but I'm going to fly it in selected. So we've got a lot of programming to do. I hope you guys are ready to learn something. Alejandros, he's coming in with a $5 ball. Thank you so much, man. No message. Can't see it, but I don't know if there was a message to be intended with that. But thank you so much for your support on the channel here. Really appreciate it. Thank you, man. OT says V1. I think someone on the forum made him. Okay, cool. So, I unfortunately I don't know who it was, but I did get the engine paint off of the forum. So, enough of that. Let's get started, guys. Cold and dark airplane here, completely cold and dark. So first time crew walks up to the cockpit, we do our security checks. We kind of go through all of our flows, right? Make sure all our weather's off, that's off, down, normal, overhead, everything looks good. We'll establish electrical power. So looking up here at the volts, 27.7, 28.1, that looks good. Get the batteries fired up. I do, and of course we got the BSS sound pack. Let me make sure the sounds are set up here. I've been doing a lot of tweaking. We'll get the sounds ready. Oh wait, no, that's so wrong. What am I doing? Don't even use those. Sound 3D. Here we go. There we go. Everything looks good. All right, we're going to connect to external power right away. Since we don't have an APU, we'll get the nav lights on, crew supply oxygen, ground control push button, get the ADIRs to align. We already know about the on-bat, on and off, right? So we're not going to wait for every single one, but let's just see if at least one of them does it. There we go. On-bat, 1, 2, and 3. Fuel pumps can remain off. We'll do our fire test. We're going to make sure we do our fire test now since, well, we're going to wait for the remainder of the screens to power up before we do that. All right. Runar, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Welcome on board. All right, looks like we got our screens powered up here. APU fire, so we know that that's a failure that we've enabled. So, to get rid of this, I'm going to emergency cancel. Let's see if this works. I've never actually tested this. I should be able to emergency cancel that. Okay, well, I'm not quite sure how that would work. So in real life, the way this would be deferred is it would be disconnected. You wouldn't have this illuminating here the entire time. So hopefully it won't hinder the rest of the airplane in X-plane, but in real life, if the APU is deferred, you would not have it indicating that there was a fire. All right. So we can go to the rest of our fire test though now. We want to make sure that works. Got our lights, fire light of the throttle quadrant, and we'll do the right side. That looks good. We're going to skip the APU because it doesn't work. Everything else looks good up there. Seatbelts can remain off for now. And this is all and half volume there. Perfect. Come down to our hydraulics. Looking good there. Engine systems. We got plenty of oil. Things look good. So, let's go ahead and start initializing the flight plan. Let's bring this up. Take a look at what we got here. Make this nice and big because we're going to do a lot of editing in this box today. Milltown, what's going on, man? Says hopefully you and the family are well. Yes, doing good, man. Appreciate you asking. We're doing good. Baby's doing good. Baby's been in a good mood the last couple of days, so that's always a help for the wifey and I. All right, here we go. Let's load this up. We are loading from LGSK to LGSM. We're going as a G and a 114. Cost index, we're going to dial this back. Cost index 15 since it is a shorter flight. Cruise flight level is going to be 230. Align on ref, confirm. All right, out of here, we're probably going to have to depart. Let's go back to our regular charts. I know the wind was blowing pretty good earlier. Probably going to take off runway 2 northbound. So, we're going to go runway 2 on the... Now, I had this problem before. I don't know if maybe my box is just out of date or what here. let's see, the TSL-1 Bravo. There we go. We're going to do the TSL-1 Bravo, which is basically a right turn back around and join out to Attica. Now, for some reason, this builds it out to the north, which we don't want to do that. That goes all the way out to Thessaloniki. So we're going to delete that. Radial 336, then right turn back around right to SKP is what we want. And then from SKP, we're going to Attica. We'll insert, what does that look like? Zoom it in here. Alright, so flight plan. This has a, no, up to 2,000 feet and then a right. Oh, actually it does have it. So what are we missing? We don't need this R3360 in here. We can get rid of that. There we go. All the way up to 2,000 feet, then a right turn back to the VOR and outbound. Perfect. So from there, I'm going to get the rest of my flight plan up here. Sim Toolkit Pro. We're going to Echo Tango Romeo Uniform Delta. Oh no, I messed up. Clear that disco. There we go. Now we do ETRUD. ETRUD. Insert. And then from there, we're going to continue on to Ness Mike Echo Sierra, which is, oh boy, we got to take a look at the chart here, a Navigraph chart. Mike Echo Sierra is going to be 117.6, so it is that first one. Cool. Insert. And then direct LGSM. Now, this is where we're going to have to build the approach in the box here. So what we need to do is, I'm going to pull up our arrival, and not necessarily this one, but we're going to use that one too. But let's pull up the actual chart, LGSM, and then we're going to look at approach VOR DME. So let's break this down real quick here. Looking at this approach chart, this approach chart is essentially the same thing as this. However, this is just depicted a little bit larger to scale. Now, a lot of these charts are going to come from, if you're working for an airline, your own operator, they're going to publish charts that are a little bit easier to read like this. So I'm doing the same thing with this chart. It just looks a little bit different because they have a different category. Now, what we need to do is program this whole thing in the box. So we're going to go MES, from MES to L, we're going to go to the VOR. We're going to start at the VOR with an overfly. MES, which we got to pick the right one, or no, I'm sorry, SAM, which is 111.6. Carl Childers coming in with a $25 super chat. Carl, thank you so much for your support to the channel, man. Wow, it says a little dab for the skipper. Carl, appreciate your support, man. Thank you very much for that. And another one, Alejandro's coming in again with another super chat. Says, hi everyone, just to thank you for all the knowledge you pass on to the community. Any chance you would do an NDB approach in Greece? You will do an NDB very similar to what I'm showing you right now. But Carl, Alejandros, thank you so much for your support on the channel. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Definitely positive rates for you guys. Really appreciate your support and your bombs to the channel here. Awesome stuff. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it, honestly. As far as the NDB approach, what you would have to do in the Airbus, Alejandros, is you would have to program it how I'm programming this approach. And then you would have to fly either an RNAV overlay, or you'd have to do selected, which I will talk more once we actually fly it. But right now, let me go ahead and just finish the programming. I wish I could make this bigger so you could see. Oh well, anyway. So anyways, thanks guys, I appreciate it. So From MAS, we're going to go to 111.6, which is our VOR. We're going to insert that. All right. So we know we're going to fly in, we're going to cross the VOR. From the VOR, we're going to be a Cat C aircraft. So there's a couple different routes. You either take the 160 radial or you take the 164, depending on your category. Since we're a Cat C aircraft on this approach, we got to take the 160 radial outbound. So let's go ahead and make this radial in our box here. Notice it goes all the way up to 9 DME. We can do that. Even without the fixed info page, we can do it with manual programming. We just got to use a little bit of code. So we're going to use Sierra Alpha Mike, and we're using the point, bearing, a distance format. So Sierra Alpha Mike on the 160 radial and a distance of 9 DME. So we should be able to put that right there. It says which VOR, 111.6, insert. So now, if you look at our chart, or our ND here, I just drew this out. PBD 05 is our first waypoint at 9 miles. Now, after that, we have to make a right turn to intercept the 358 inbound at the 9-mile mark. So we can't program 358 because that would be northbound. We have to take the reciprocal. So we do our little mental math. We do the +2 -2 or the -2 +2, however it works out for you. 358, if we do +2, that would bring us to 538. You can't fly a heading of 538 because there's only 360 degrees in a circle. So unless you're Chuck Norris, you can't do a +2. You have to do a subtract 2. So if we subtract 2 first, which would give us 1, and then we add 2, 7, it would be 178 is the reciprocal course. So let's go ahead and make that waypoint. SAM, bearing 178 is the reciprocal course. Distance of 9 miles as well. Insert, ask me which VOR, boom. All right, now look at my ND. I have the second waypoint. From that, to make this drawn out nicely, let's look at the chart that we've downloaded separately. So the company chart says you're going to follow that course inbound until reaching 4 miles from SAM. What I would do in real life is I'd probably put a fixed info ring around that as well, but we can't do that in the Flight Factor. So we have to program one more waypoint here. We're going to do the same thing. SAM, same course inbound, right? 178, because that's the reciprocal of 358. And then this time we're making a DME of 4 miles. And again, it asked me which VOR. Oh, I think I picked the wrong VOR. What happened there? Erase that. What happened there? Let's try it again. I need to go Sierra Alpha Mike 178 at 4 miles. There we go. I must have selected the wrong VOR. All right. Look at that. Boom, boom. And then from there, we're pretty much on our own for a visual circle. So what I'll throw in here is I'm going to make an extended center line off runway 9 with no star or anything. So there's my extended center line right there for 09. So now I have the approach coming into the VOR, outbound, right turn, and inbound. Now when we get airborne, I'm going to have to show you how to change this to make it a flyover waypoint so we have proper lead, turn lead computing and all that. But for the basic pre-flight, this is how I would set it up in real life. Now, of course, depending on your operator, you may not be able to build approaches like I just showed you. They may say, hey, you have to either do an RNAV overlay or you have to fly a different approach. But for us, we can actually build an approach like that as long as we're backing it up. So technically, this is illegal depending on where you work. This is legal for who you work for. So, all right. We've got that set up. That's our basic setup. We're going to talk more about that en route when we get going. So we've got our flight plan in the box, though, our basic flight plan. Our rad nav, we are going to hard tune something coming out of here. So let's get back to our departure stuff here. I think let's finish that up. Stan coming in with another bomb. Thank you so much, man. He says, I'm loving this European tour. Pure gold, amazing stuff as always, V1. Stan, I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate your support here. Positive rates for you, man. Awesome, dude. I'm glad you're enjoying the Euro tour. We might have one more leg after this flight, guys. We may go to, I think we're going to reposition probably back in Corfu, or we might stop one other spot, and then we're going to be headed up into France and then back northbound all the way back around, and then the Euro tour will conclude. But As far as Greece goes, this may be the second to last leg or last leg in Greece, but I'm glad you guys are enjoying the Euro Tour. I've thoroughly enjoyed the Euro Tour, especially coming down here, and seeing all the new scenery. It's been a lot of fun. So, real quick though, for the rest of our setup here, SKP, I'm going to hard tune that. I'm also going to put in a course of 090 just as a backup. That's by outbound here, right? Outbound. Carrot, thank you, sir. Thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome. Sam F says, "Hey V1, how often do you do a circle to land in the Airbus?" It's pretty uncommon in the United States. As you go down into South America, though, and some of these other airports where the terrain is significantly more impactful, then you'll do circle to lands more often. But in the United States, for the most part, all the major airports that airlines fly in and out of are pretty well set up to either, you can fly in on an approach or change approach. You don't have to do a circle. A true circle to land approach is really when you're terrain restricted, or there's some kind of weird weather going on, or there's some weird airspace. Because a true circle is where you fly into the airport, you get a visual, and then you have to execute a complete visual pattern. So in the airline world, it's not super common, but it does happen. In the U.S., however, in the contiguous 48 states, it's pretty rare. It's pretty darn rare to actually have to do a circle, because most of the runways here have approaches from both ends. All right, so we've got SKP hard tuned in my side. Let's get back to what we were doing here. Secondary flight plan. I'm just gonna, like we always do, quick and dirty here. Let's just do this, get it out of the way. LGSK, and then we're gonna get on our way here. If I do have to come back around, we're going to land on runway 2. It'll be a visual, nothing to put in the perf page because it's going to be all visual. And then I'm just going to do this LGSK02. I missed whoever subscribed there. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining the channel. LGSK02. Perf data. All right, so we're pretty much set up in the box here. I got a quick and dirty secondary. Init B, let's finish loading here. And then we got to start these engines. So cargo 1 is we'll take a ton. That sounds good. Pretty short flight, not a lot of cargo. Passengers, we'll do 2/3. We'll set that. Far as fuel, let's take 5.3, because you would probably have to have an alternate to either come back here to Skyethos or a different runway. Dispatching to one runway airport, you're probably going to have an alternate. So we'll set 5.3, and then let's do weight request. How does that look? Everything looks good in the CG. 5.3 on the fuel, hour extra time. That's perfect. That gives us enough gas to come back. Let's see. I'm just curious. LGSK, if we put that as our alternate, and then we come back to our fuel predict page. Let's see. May not be enough. Just thinking. Maybe not enough. Interesting. Either that or it can't calculate it. Oh, great. I don't know if I locked it up. Oh, well, we know we have enough fuel. Everything else looks good. All right, so that's set up. Perf data. We're definitely doing a flaps 2 Toga out of here. No terrain, so we can do flaps 2 Toga out of here. We're just going to get us up quick. And what was our trim position? Up 0.4. So, like I said before, it's pretty much minimal on the bus. So, all right, everything else looks good. What we can do now is put you back into art mode, constraint mode. We're going all the way up to flight level 230. That's set in the box. Come to the overhead. Let's go ahead and get the fuel pumps online. We're going to stay with external power because we don't have a ground power. We'll arm those, turn the seat belts on. Baby's going crazy in the background. I apologize for that. Nav light is on. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of everybody here. Ground handling, drive away, good sirs. Now we can get back to the chat, guys. Sorry about that. Are there any circle to lands in the U.S. for major airports? No, not that I can think of off the top of my head, man. And you have to understand, a circle to land, a true circle to land approach, you're only going to be doing it because there's either no approach to the opposite runway that's favorable for the winds, or there's a terrain limitation. There's terrain in the way that you can't do an approach. And most of the airports that I'm thinking of are you know, you either have an approach to both sides. They may be a non-precision approach, but you still have the ability to do the approach straight in. Ace says, V1, you should try the FS Labs Airbus. I know, man. Ace, I'm not going to P3D, man. Not with 2020 on the horizon. I'm done with changing sims. I'm sticking with X-Plane and then Microsoft 2020. I do agree, though, the FS Labs is probably the best bus out there. No doubt. All right, let's close up the doors. Remove you. Close everybody up. We are going to need an air start unit. Look at that. They actually have it modeled. This is really cool of Flight Factor. I mean, say what you want about them sometimes, but this is a pretty accurate representation, except, you know, when guys are lazy, they probably run this hose right in front of the engine. That's why we're going to start 2 first. So this is one of those situations, guys, where we are going to start engine 2 first because we've got the air cart on the left side, and it's just safer when they disconnect the high-pressure air. Alright, so we've got all that is set.
Donation.
Brian Harris coming in with a $10 bomb. Brian Harris, thank you so much, man. He says, enjoying the V1 Institute. Keep it rolling, Captain. Brian Harris, huge positive rate, man. Definitely appreciate your support on the channel. I'm glad you guys are learning. I'm glad you guys are enjoying learning Airbus and hanging out with me. Carl, circle in Hawaii. There you go. Is it because of the volcano? I think there might be some terrain out there. All right, let's see what the outside. Okay, you guys hear this? This is very realistic. You hear that sound? Extremely loud. Any ground crew, ground ramper, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is what it sounds like too. It sounds like it's recorded. So you can see we got the wheel chocks in place. High pressure air is into the engine. We're gonna get VOR on, and beacon light on. I'm gonna let Haley finish her announcement, and then we are going to get this thing fired up here. So at this point, with everything loaded in the box, doing a huffer start cart, I'd probably either call the ground guy up and say, hey man, just want to confirm with you, we're going to start engine number 2 first. Make sure you keep the power connected. We're going to need power and air until I give you the start for disconnect because we don't have an APU. Sometimes if you have an APU but you don't have bleed power, you can use the AC power from the APU, so you don't need to have electrical power, and then they can disconnect the electrical cart and just run the huffer. But in this instance, we're doing full-blown ground assist. Without the ground crew, this airplane would not leave the gate. We need their ground power cart, and we also need their huffer cart. So I'd say, hey man, we're starting 2. After that, I'll give you a good signal, I'll disconnect, and then we'll go ahead and push back, and all standard calls and all that. It's like, all right, cool, man. Ground crew has been briefed. We're pretty much ready to go. Haley's pretty much done. It looks like the cockpit door has been closed. So, for start checklist, windows, doors, and sides, they are closed and armed. Beacon on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is set. All right, now we need to configure for a ground start. So up on the overhead, what I should have done before they connected to. Packs are going to come off. Engine 1 bleed on. Crossfeed open. And engine 2 bleed off. Move the ignition start switch to ignition start. 44 PSI, we got a great cart. I think you need 28 PSI minimum during the start to have a good start here. All right, clear to start 2, we'll clear to start 2. Cranking 2. Now in real life, I would really be monitoring this engine start, because when you open up that valve and that pressure starts flowing, sometimes those carts don't have enough power to keep rolling, and you could hot start. So it's really important to be monitoring the engine start off of a ground cart. Gus says, how did you get United Express in there? I don't know, man. The frickin' AI is pretty funny. We got an American Eagle RJ sitting there too. Extra long range ERJs or CRJs. Brian Jones says, yep, don't miss that sound. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so we've got a good start on engine number 2. Air bleed 1 off, that's associated. Clear the caution, clear the ECAM. We've got a good start on engine 2. So what I'll do now is I'm going to verify the electric page has been picked up. So I've got a good generator over here. We'll go ahead and disconnect external power. Got a good disconnect. Now you can see my generator 2 has picked up the load. Perfect. Say, all right, Gerald McGinley, you're good to disconnect the ground power and air. So then we'll come over here, ground power off, air start cart removed, chocks removed. Now I'm going to leave this configuration for a minute because you don't want to just let the packs, turn the packs on and let everybody start breathing in that compressed air from the cart. It can be pretty nasty. So I also want to do a better pushback. I think we're good to just start
Ground
pushback.
cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
We're actually going to go this way because we're taking off northbound.
Ground cockpit, tow is driving up.
Ground handling, we can hide all. No longer need them. Alright, well, simulated, we waited long enough, so we're going to go ahead and move you back into auto position. Pack 2 can come on. We're going to leave pack 1 off and the engine 1 bleed off because the engine's not running, and we're going to get ready for a cross bleed start when it's time. So we'll go ahead and clear that electrical page. And this can come back to normal. I'm going to leave the flaps and speed brakes up until we complete the pushback. And let's do just a fake squawk code in there, 2000.
Okay, all
Slam
doors
Cannon
and
says
hatches
200
are
plus
closed.
watching,
Ready
88
to
likes.
connect.
Oof. Come on, guys. Appreciate it, Slam Cannon. Yeah, if you haven't already, man, please hit that like button. Trying to get the channel back into YouTube's algorithm. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button if you're enjoying the content. I really appreciate it. It does help me out, especially now that there's been some shifting with YouTube. So please hit that like button for me if you haven't already. I used to never hit the like button. Then once I became a YouTuber, I understood what it actually does, and it does help the channel. So I appreciate it, guys. Looks like they're connecting the tug down there. Good start on engine 2.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Brakes released, clear to push.
Starting pushback.
Now, we wouldn't do a cross-bleed start during pushback because it's going to require significant pressure from the number 2 engine that's already running. Could possibly run it up to 40% N1. That's our limitation. You don't want to do that when you're connected to a tug, because if you do that when you're connected to a tug, you might run over the tug driver. So we're going to go ahead and wait for the pushback to be complete. And then we'll get a clearance from ground to do a cross-bleed. And this looks like it's going to be a perfect spot to do a cross-bleed because we've got a blast fence behind us, even though it's facing the wrong way. They may not want us to do a cross-bleed there now that I look at it. That's all right. They don't have a choice because I'm not going to cross-bleed over here and blast the ramp. And I don't want to do a cross-bleed on the runway, blocking the runway, so we'll wait for the... Shark says, I'll be rewatching this. Excellent, man. Do you guys prefer it with the chat off on the screen? Does it look cleaner? I know a couple of you guys were asking for that, so I hope getting the chat off makes it look a little bit cleaner. That fan blade just barely windmilling there. Timu, thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome on board. Look at that, just windmilling there as it gets pushed. This is really cool because the wind is blowing from the north, and as the engine turned into the wind, it started windmilling. That's really cool. Raven Rex, appreciate the subscription, man. Let's see. What's the tug doing down there? Man, those engines look so good.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brake set, clear disconnect, show me the pin.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
SB says you have great content and teach very well. Very much appreciate your videos. Thank you. SB, awesome, man. Glad you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for your kind words. Hi, Chris. Is those IE engines, though? What a beaut. Definitely, man. I mean, I'm still blown away at these engines. That's how good they are. I mean, fantastic modeling. Absolutely fantastic. They may even look better than the FS Labs engines. I'll even go as far to say that. I mean, just look at that. Look at it windmilling there in the wind. Just sitting there, doing its thing. I love it. Captain says realistic as hell. It really is, man. It really is. And the fact that it sped up as the airplane turned with its tail into the wind. Now, depending on the wind limit.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
All right, man. Thanks for the smooth push. We'll see you next time. Depending on the strength of the wind, sometimes you got to be careful too when you're starting with a tailwind up the tailpipe like that. But I haven't had an Airbus with it in the CEO. I actually had a. I think I had a. Was it in the Neo? I can't remember. But sometimes they have a limit. Some aircraft have a limitation starting an engine with a tailwind like that. Russell Campbell coming in with the $2 bomb. So much. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate your support. He says, yeah, I agree. The chat overlay bugged me a little. Awesome, man. Cool. All right, so we've got a good pushback, and we talked to ground, say, hey, man, are we good to do a cross-bleed start here? And they say, yeah, you're good to do a cross-bleed start at your current position. Advise when ready to taxi. So crossfeed is open. Verify our pressure. Now, see how it's sitting at 30 PSI at idle? That's a pretty good engine. But realistically, you're probably going to have to bump the thrust up a little bit. As I bump the thrust up, we'll see the pressure increase. There we go. There's 40 PSI. That's pretty good right there at 32. That's a pretty good realistic shot. All right, let's go ahead and start engine number 1. Make sure the pressure stays up as this bleed valve opens. Like I said, real life, we'd be monitoring this start big time, but Tim says, hey, V1 just arrived. Hey, I jump in the plane or is it too late? Tim, come aboard, man. Hop aboard. We'll open up the door for you. Are there rules when you put the aircraft in the TARA? Yeah, we don't do TARA until we take off. And we also put it into TA mode only when you're single engine if you lose an engine in flight. Now, I just spammed it over to TARA because I'm not on any ATC network or anything like that right now, so that wasn't very realistic of me. But yes, there are rules with the TARA selector on the transponder. All right, looks like we've got a good start on engine 2. Come back to idle. Normal, extend. We're doing a flaps 2 takeoff. Get these puppies out here. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, let's go ahead and reconfigure the overhead. We'll go crossfeed shut, engine 1 bleed on, pack 1 on. Again, verify everything worked here. So first I'm going to check my electrics. Looks like we got good generators on both sides now. Perfect. And then, of course, we look at the bleed just to make sure that the pack valves are opening up. Everything looks good there. So we've got a good start. Short taxi with the taxi back, so we're going to do all of our stuff here. Flight controls. Oh, wow. Hit my full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. Have you guys noticed? I noticed this the other day. Look at the detail underneath the flap, or the spoilers, technically. Look at that detailing under there. Awesome. Rudders, full left.
Subscriber.
Full right.
Look up.
Neutral. Marcel, thank you for subscribing. Welcome on board. All right, auto brakes, 2 max. Takeoff config, check. That can come on. That can come on to auto, TRA, and flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff. We're getting everything ready here before we get on the runway and taxi back. Let's roll. Brakes released. You guys ready to finally get on our way? That's kind of what happens when you have those cart starts like that. Everything slows down, takes more time. Yeah, Geeky, unfortunately there's only a CFM sound pack for the 320. And yeah, the IA engines should have N1 up here instead of, or I'm sorry, EPR instead of N1. But we gotta work with what we have. Yeah, OT, he only made it for the 320. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on our lights. I'm not going to turn on the strobes because that'll trip the flight attendant already. I don't want to do that just yet. We're going to do a taxi back to runway 2. And there she is. My little beagle is ready to get out of the room. I'm going to just leave this taxi in here. Whoops. Undo my track IR. Alright, let me get her out of the room here.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Thank you for the subscribe there, man. Appreciate it. Just didn't catch the name there. I was letting my dog out. What controllers do I use, Evergreen? I have the Thrustmaster Warthog stick for the Airbus, and then I have a couple of old SateTech rudder pedals and the SateTech Rhino throttle, part of the X56 system. Alright, we're going to do a little turnaround here. Skyrim says we only need to wait for BSS release the IAE pack and EPR as well. Yeah, I don't think we're going to ever get EPR gauges on this airplane, unfortunately. I don't think we're going to ever get them. Alright, let's make the turnaround here. Let's do it in an external view because it looks cooler. People are waiting on the blast fence. Hold on. Oh, that is cool. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's get her straightened up here. We should probably set the altimeter setting too. Current altimeter 3024. Definitely going to be a big difference, especially as we go down to Samos.
Ahead. Look up.
Sarb, thank you so much for the subscribe. Welcome. Alright, look at this. This is a cool shot, though. I didn't even realize that if I go to free camera, this is what it looks like from behind the blast fence. Let's spool them up 50. I love it. Here we go. Nose forward on the stick. Toga SRS. Auto thrust balloon. Oh, we're in nav mode. Yeah, we are in nav mode, but it looks a little funky. 80 knots, thrust set. Neutral by 100. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Oh, that looks good. Alright, I gotta figure out what this box is doing here. I'll tell you what, why don't we just do this? There we go. Clean it up a little bit. First time climb auto thrust. Flaps 1. Pre-select in there? Alright, hold on. Our box got a little wonky. What is this thing doing? You see this? We don't need to intercept anything there, Mr. Airbus. Here comes our VFE next. Let's go to flap 0. Nice weather reload, thank you. Set standard. All right, now we've got a land ASAP message. I'm assuming that's from our APU. There we go. Dougal says stunning scenery. Yeah, man, beautiful coming out of there. That was the X Aviation. Wow, that was loud. Probably way off course by now. Yeah, we are. That's alright. Cinematic views are more important. Let's go ahead and redirect us to Atika, insert, autopilot 1, in the turn, climb in 230, thrust climb. I don't know why I keep going back to manage, or selected speed there. Land ASAP, that's from our status, right here from our APU in op. Why can't I cancel the other one? Alright, so there's our APU fire. Now I'm going to go emer cancel. I don't know if it'll let me emergency cancel that one. So I should be able to emergency cancel that APU fire message. Got our lights too. Out of 10,000 feet, we'll go ahead and turn them off. A little scattered there on the departure, I apologize. Hate that. Turn it down a little bit. Where's the air? Life? I'm trying to turn down that wind noise a little bit. It seems to be a little bit excessive. Alright, anyway, that looks fine. We're out of here, guys. 230 on the climb out. Dimitri says every Airbus lives and dies by the FMA. It's the Airbus way. Dimitri, absolutely, man. Live and die by the FMA. It's the Airbus way. Absolutely. There's one thing you got to learn from my channel is no flex in flight sim, and you will live and die by the FMA call-up when you're flying the Airbus. About how long will this take, Alex K? It's a relatively short flight. Matter of fact, I should have an ETE on the overlay. That's our estimated time en route. It's a very short flight. It's only about 20 minutes, and we got to go over our approach. So as soon as we get up to cruise, we're going to start our approach preparations. And it's a short flight, so let's get the seatbelt sign off now. Let the ladies and gentlemen begin their service. We don't really have an interior Aegean on this Flight Factor, which is kind of sad, but not too far there.
Subscriber
Victor Luke,
ahead.
thank you for the
Look
subscribe.
up.
Welcome on board, man. Philly says hello. How's it going, man? Happy Saturday, Jay. Happy Saturday to you. All right. Organic Milk says, hey, V1, what is the vertical profile intercept? The vertical profile intercept, we're referring to the little squiggly line on your ND. Let's see if we have one. We don't have one set here. But what that means, when you have that little squiggly arrow, that's your vertical, that's your VNAV descent path intercept. And that's predicated on 50% or half speed brakes and idle thrust. It's telling you where you will intercept the pre-planned descent path, which will be a 3-degree path the Airbus will calculate for you. It can help you and it can hurt you, depending on the approach. Rigger says, why does the ECAM say land ACP? Because Rigger, I deferred the APU. So you see the APU is saying fire. Now, in real life, this wouldn't be illuminated right now. I'd have it deferred. But I deferred it via the failure system over here, and the only way to do that was to kill both fire loops. So, unfortunately, I can't just defer it. That would be cool if they could just say, add that to their failure system. I don't know if Flight Factor ever listens to anything I say anymore, but if they are listening, what would be cool, instead of just implementing failures, just eliminate being able to in-op certain systems, such as the APU, or maybe you want to in-op a generator. Samuel Rebus, thank you for the subscribe. Welcome on board. That would be kind of a cool thing to do as well with the failure list, to just be able to in-op certain things, make it a little bit more challenging on yourself. All right, we are 19.8230, a couple more 100 feet to go. We'll enjoy the view before we got to flip it back around. I like looking at those engines, though. That's without the glass. That's with the glass. As soon as we get to cruise, we're going to start our descent prep, and we got to brief this approach thoroughly so we don't totally ball it up into Samos. What's a good landing rate? Shark. Technically, the Airbus, anything below 160 or right at 160 is technically as low as they want you to land. Isra, thank you for the subscribe. There's no real guidance on it, but if you land at about 160-ish feet per minute, that helps with triggering the speed brakes, deployment, auto brake, and all that stuff. Now, I mean, you can totally, but there's no set limitation or no set good landing, but for a rate anyway. A good landing, though, is one that doesn't jar the passengers, and it's in the touchdown zone, and it's 50 feet above the threshold on ref. That's a good landing. Now, an X-plane, what is a good landing? A good landing in an X-plane is come in 20 feet over the threshold, float it out to the end of the touchdown zone, and get a butter. That's an X-plane landing. But in real life, 50 foot over the threshold on slope. And I say 50 foot over the threshold. Sometimes that could be higher depending on your glide slope. If you're coming in at a 3.9, a 3.5, you may be coming in over 75 feet. So you don't want to drag it in. That's the difference between real world approach and landing and X-plane approach and landing. In X-plane, we like to have fun, try to grease it out, hold it out. But this approach into Samos, I tell you what, we're not going to be going for the butter at all. We're going to be going straight in for that. Ooh, that's cool, that runway down there. Straight for that touchdown zone marker. Put her down, get the reversers out. You don't have a lot of runway to mess around with either. Nevada Rocks says, happy Saturday, Cap. Can you say when the turboprop series that you want to do with the cave is coming? Nevada Rocks, a couple of guys were asking about that since I just released the beginning teaser for the Citation series, or the Corporate Jet Pilot series. The turboprop, the problem I had, I started recording for the turboprop series in the King Air, in the 350, and I was, had full intention of doing it. But the problem with that is I never flew the King Air 350. Not flying other models, and I've got a ton of other Beach 99 time. But it's really hard for me to try to teach you guys at a professional level in an airplane that I'm not even type rated in. So that's why I've kind of gone by the wayside on that. I may still do some tutorials and talk to you in depth about beta and prop levers and PT6 and all that. But I don't think I'm going to do a full-blown professional series just because I don't feel like, number one, I'm sure a bunch of you guys are going to go savage mode in the comments section and be like, well, that's not how it really does. So I don't want to deal with that. And two, like I said, it's just hard to teach something that I'm not typed in. So I don't know. We'll see. Music Man, thank you for the subscribe. But as far as the Corporate Jet series goes, I'm excited for that. What I am doing, though, is I'm trying to get most of the episodes done and edited. That way I can release them on schedule. So I'm probably going to release one more video kind of just setting up the Citation the way I think it flies best. And when that video comes out, you'll know that pretty much the whole series has been done. And I'm going to try to release them on, maybe a bi-weekly or a weekly schedule, something like that. Carl says, I've tried to tell people for a long time that you fly a jet to the deck and you have to have enough vertical energy to deploy spoilers and shuts. Carl, you're absolutely right, man. You're right. Too shallow and you can do bad things to the tires. Yeah, so in the Embraer, you could actually you could actually have a hard time getting the speed brakes. I'm sorry, not the thrust reversers out, because if you landed too softly, you really buttered it. Sometimes the weight on wheels wouldn't trigger. Now in the Airbus, I believe it's a proximity sensor, so it goes off proximity. Look at that water, Dimitri. Ooh, yeah, that looks good. But there's still a lot of things that, you know, yeah, you fly the airplane to the ground. You know, it's a little bit different in real life. And in all honesty, even a landing in the back of the airplane will feel hard, but up front, especially if you're in a 321, like, wow, that was a smooth landing. Until the flight attendant that was sitting in the back comes up and was like, wow, that was really firm. So from up front, they all feel smooth, if I'm being honest. I mean, even, well, not all of them. You can really have some smashes, but it also depends on where you're sitting in the airplane to determine if it felt good or not. All right, enough chit-chat, guys. I'd love to sit here and chat with you, but we need to go over this approach. I want to turn down this frickin' wind noise, though, because I'm about to lose my mind. Let's see, Sound 3D volume. We gotta find it. Environment? No. Is it weather? Oh, only one I didn't try. Alright, that's so much better. Get that weather volume down. Alright, here we go. We're going to plan mode. We're going to zoom it in. I'm going to pop this out, make it nice and big. I'll pull up my McDo. Enter destination data. That's what we're going to do right now. So, I'm going to use... We don't need this one. We're going to need this one. We're going to use this one first. 111.6. I'm going to hard tune that as SAM. So here we go. SAM, hard tuned. Now I'm also going to tune the course since we're doing a selected. I'm going to do 160 course. Outbound. Oops. Wrong box. Wrong box. 160 on the course. Now, for the FO, I'm actually going to put his in there as well, but I'm going to do it for the inbound. We said it was 178, so for the FO, I'm going to put in his box, SKP, or SKP, what am I, is it SKP? No, it's SAM. SAM. .178 inbound. Now, I might actually change that up here. We'll take a look at it in a second. But, all right, so I've got that hard-tuned. Progress page, LGSM09er. Forgot the L. LGSM09. That way I can just look down and have a quick and dirty direct to. Next phase, we're coming down at 6.6 and 254. Perfect. We don't want to be hauling. As far as weather goes, let's take a quick look. Update the active sky weather in Samos. Right now, winds 020 at 10 knots. Perfect. Nothing like a 10-knot crosswind. Wrong place. Man, I'm not even drinking today, and I'm fumbling around with the box. 020 at 10. Temperature is 12. Pretty nice. And the QNH is 1020. That won't let me do it. I know. Dang it.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Quick little conversion tool. 1020 is 3011. Thank you for the subscribe. Missed the name there. Appreciate it. Welcome on board the channel. 3011. The MDA technically is going to be the inbound, the bottom out. So I'll look at our other chart here. Technically, we have to be level here at the inbound turn. So when we come back inbound, 358, 3,000, and then we turn inbound. Minimum descent altitude is 3,000. That's for our turn inbound. So we're going to put 3,000 in the box. Config full, that looks good. Secondary, I'm going to copy the active. All right. Now let me make sure we're not overflying where we need to go before we need to start down. No, we're still got a little bit of time there. It's coming up quick, but I'm going to go ahead and scroll in. What do we need before we cross 6,000 feet? Because we got to cross the VOR at 6,000 feet before we turn outbound. All right, back to plan mode. And let's look at this, make sure it looks good. We're going to also add some restrictions. So, you see now I have this weird turn, it doesn't look as pretty as when we programmed it because it has us coming in here at 250 knots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a speed restriction over the VOR first. I'm going to put it in 180 knots, and I'm going to insert that. Oh, it's because why do you want me to select heading first? You don't need to select heading first, man. Alright, how about this? SAM. Speed to strength. We're going to do 180 and 6,000. We should probably start down now because that was actually calculating us at 10,000. This is so weird. Why does it want me to do that? Because we're not even going to SAM. But alright. You happy now? Weird. Alright, so we're going to cross the VOR. Oh, this looks weird. Yeah, 180 at 6,000. Alright, sorry guys. 180 at 6,000. After that, we're going to be coming outbound. We're going to probably be at 160 knots minimum for this. So we're going to be 160 on the speed. This is weird that's making me do this. 160 on the speed there, and then as we turn inbound, we want to be pretty much at ref. We're going to be at 100. I'm going to put us at 150 knots at PBD 06. I'm going to put us at 150 and 3,000 feet. Insert that. All right. Back to nav mode. And let's make sure we're not missing our descent window. No, we're still looking good. All right, so you can see, let's look at this here one more time now that we've got all our speeds in there. When I put the speeds in there, the radius of turn will be depicted here on our ND. So now that I've got the speed at 160 knots, this looks much better for the turn inbound. Now you have to be careful that you don't overshoot this here. You want to make sure you make this turn inbound, so I'll probably start the turn at 8 miles, so a mile prior, just so we don't go over this max, like a max bank angle limitation as we round the corner and intercept the 358 inbound. You can turn inside. If you turn inside, that's fine, but you don't want to go outside. You don't want to go long. So we'll start the turn 160 knots, and then we'll hit PBD 06 at 150 knots, 3,000. And then by the time we get to PBD 08, that's pretty much our ref. We're going to be at our ref speed, which is 128 knots. We'll probably be fully configured at that point. So we're going to put 128 on PBD 08. And according to the other chart, it's going to be about 1,100 feet. Because if you look here on this chart, it says at SAM flaps 30, which is pretty much for us. This is off of a Boeing. For an Airbus flaps 30, you're going to be pretty much full flaps at that point. And at 1,100 feet when you cross, or you got to be at 1,100 feet when you're abeam the pier. So we're not going to be using the box. I'm just throwing it in there for references. But now we have a nice approach drawn out in our McDo. How we're looking. Top of descent, 10 miles. I'm going to just go ahead and get her coming down right about now. Let's just start it down because we don't want to get behind. So speed descent, we're coming down. Our box has been programmed. Now we actually have to brief the approach. So this is a very intensive flight for the flight crew that will be doing something like this.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate the subscribe. Welcome on board, man. All right, so I'm going to brief it off the actual chart, so it's legal. We're going to be auto brakes medium. And we don't need to use our LS push buttons because we aren't using any localizer slope. All right, so my brief would be something like this. We're going to be doing the VOR DME circle to land into Samos, Greece on runway 9er. the Samos VOR. We've got hard tuned in the RadNav page 111.6. Hard tuned 111.6. As we cross over the VOR, we'll be at 6,000 feet and slowing to 160 knots, configuring the aircraft on schedule. Once we reach 9 DME or just prior to 9 DME, we'll start a right-hand turn to intercept the inbound VOR. In Rose VOR mode, I've got my course set up as the outbound 160. As I make the turn inbound, I will reference the FO's ND. He has a 178 inbound course. After that, we're going to proceed inbound on the 178 radial, configuring flaps 30, flaps full, gear down, and we're going to break out on a heading of 325, reaching 4 DME. At 4 DME, we start that left turn. We want to go just to the south of the pier. We want to make our right turn before hitting the village and before the mountain. It is possible to get a Jip Whiz terrain alert. If that trips off before we make the right-hand turn, we'll acknowledge the caution and continue the flight as planned. As we continue the right turn, we want to make sure we commence right turn when a beam spur, which is right about the 240 radial outbound, I'll cross-reference that as well. And then we want to make sure our last check is 400 feet over the white shed. There is a white shed. It is in the game. It is in the sim too, so it'll be fun. There's a big white shed there on final. You want to cross that at 400 feet. After that, we're going to set her down on runway 9er. We're in an Airbus A320, flaps full reverse, medium brakes. I'll probably switch it over to manual brakes relatively soon after touchdown. Let me just get rid of these charts here so we can brief the 10.9 page for LGSM. Landing on runway 9er. Only 6,700 feet available. We're going to have a strong crosswind coming out of the north at about 15 knots. Expect severe turbulence down there in the valley as we make the turn. We'll probably roll it all the way in. We're not going to smoke the brakes on this one, so I'll probably take it all the way down. Then we'll do a turnaround on the runway, backtrack, exit Echo or Alpha 3, depending on what air traffic control wants us to do. Elevation is 19 feet. Pretty close to sea level. That's all I got. Any questions, comments, concerns? I sure hope not. I hope you guys got all that and you're ready to go. There's the beautiful island off Samos off our nose. I can see the airplane's already trying to give me a hard time. I'm going to go ahead and set our 3011 altimeter is set. I know transition altitude isn't 18,000 feet here, but I apologize. I forget what it is. But what I'm going to do here, now I said in my brief I caught something interesting. So in real life, I would have this set up like this, and I would just say, hey man, once I start the turn, I want you to change my course to be 178 inbound so I don't have to look over at his screen. Pilot Sam, thanks for the subscribe. But since I don't have an FO, I'm going to flip these around because I think the more important leg here on this approach is going to be that inbound course, making sure we're inbound on 358, or 178, I should say. So I'm going to put 178 on my side, and I'm going to put 160 on the outbound leg. So I'll be referencing, 160 outbound on his ND, and then in the turn, I'll be able to just look at my ND and come back around, because I don't think I can program it in time while hand flying it. If I can, I'll try it if I can. But yeah, in real life, I'd say, hey man, as soon as I start that turn, that right turn, reprogram my course to 178, please. But that's all I got. Couple sector altitudes, 5,100, 6,000 feet. I think that's it. We'll make sure to activate confirm through 10,000. I hope you guys are ready for this. It'll all be hand flow, and I'll click everything off there just as we make the left turn in and start our circling approach. Alright, so I've clearly ignored the chat for the last 10 minutes. I do apologize, guys. Stow those speed brakes. Nevada Rock says, happy Saturday. Oh, I'm sorry, I already read that one. Sam F says, I've noticed that. Lots of dragging it in on X-Plane videos. Yeah, man. Definitely.
Subscriber ahead.
Happens a lot. It's Rafil Khan. Khan, thank you for the subscribe. Welcome aboard. Let's go outside, huh? Because we've been inside looking at the MCDU for a long time.
Subscriber
Lee
ahead.
Gignac,
Look
thank you for the
up.
subscribe. Welcome on board, man. Appreciate all the subscribers, guys. You guys are rocking. Oh, that's freaking awesome. I love this livery. I'm definitely going to Greece, and I'm
Subscriber
gonna
ahead.
fly on the
Look
Gian.
up.
Rodolfo, thank you for the subscribe as well. Welcome on board, man. These are just in time. Man, that water is looking good. That's weird. My chat was totally locked. Wow, I apologize. My chat box was locked out. So I missed a lot of your comments. I apologize, guys. I must have clicked something.
Subscriber
Oh, hey,
ahead.
thank you for the
Look
subscribe.
up. Subscriber ahead. Look
Thank
up.
you, Yanis. All right. Joystick says change NHG to HP via the black ring under the pool standard knob. Yeah, I know you can change that, but will it change
Subscriber
the
ahead.
this
Look
as well?
up.
Oh wow, it does. Wow. Good job, Flight Factor. See, I always knew this, but I didn't know it actually changed the QNH right there in the box too. That's really cool. Hats off to you guys. Good job. Thanks for the net tip there. All right, we're coming in on 1020. That looks good. Here comes 10,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and select speed, roll it back to 240 at least already, or 2. I don't want to be coming in fast. We'll activate confirm manually. And we'll go ahead and get our Greek speed brakes out there. Get ready to come through 10,000 feet. Oh, yeah. Hi, Chris says you're on fire with the new subs. Yeah, appreciate it. You guys are rocking, man. Maybe we'll get to 10K here. See if we can keep it going. Swarm says I flew the 727 in VR last night. Definitely an easy recommendation. Oh, Swarm, I love that 727. After we did that, we might have to do another 727 flight before we finish Greek or the Euro tour. Maybe on the way out, maybe up into another airplane. I don't know what airplane I'm going to use next. I'll put a vote up for the commercial pilots. All my commercial pilot members, expect a vote here shortly after the stream for aircraft selection. So if you're a commercial pilot member, make sure you check that community tab. Ryan says, with X Vision, it looks to me like they draw the waves too big, make you look closer to the water than you are. This one seems decent, though. Yeah, I love this Waterloo script that Dimitri's got going. There's without the window pane. Look at the ortho. Ooh, that looks so good. Whiskus came in for the fun part. Yes, sir. This is going to be the fun part. All right, looks like we're getting ready to cross over the VOR down there, so we need to... Oh, we are way high. What the heck is going on? We may have already screwed this up. Thank you for the subscribe, man. Appreciate it. We were supposed to cross the VOR at 6,000. We did not do a good job of crossing the VOR at 6,000. All right, keep her coming down. I'm going to set 3,000. Wow, we are way too high to commence this approach. Slam Cannon, $15 bomb, dude. Thank you so much. I remember in the beginning when this channel would see around 80 to 100 live viewers. Awesome to see 300 plus live and growing. I agree, man. Thank you so much, Slam. I appreciate it, dude. Really appreciate your support on the channel. It's definitely growing like crazy. All right, here we go. VOR outbound on the FO's page. FO's is up there. I wonder if we could make it. I'm gonna leave mine in nav mode. Here we go. Select heading. We're gonna track her outbound. We are way too high and fast, guys. We've already messed up this approach. We have already messed up the approach. So I'm going to set 6,000, a GN 114, terminate approach clearance, turn left, heading 060, descend and maintain 6,000, resequencing for the approach. All right, so we got, I don't know why the vertical profile, I had it set for 6,000, unless I screwed something up in the box. What I'm going to do real quick is copy the active, just in case my primary clears out. VFE next minus 10, flaps 1, stow the brakes. Alright, so what I'm doing, guys, is I'm going to break us off and resequence us for the approach. We were too fast. We weren't going to meet even a... We might have been able to do Cat D. I don't know, though. We would have been high. So I'm being sequenced off. We don't want to go into Turkish airspace, so continue that left turn. Turn, baby, turn. Turn, baby, turn. This is when the passengers be like, what? I thought we were supposed to be landing right now. Yeah. Your pilot made a boo-boo there. And we're also probably going to go into Turkish airspace. A double whammy. 330. Thank you for the subscribe. Appreciate it, man. All right, so let's regroup here. We're at 160 knots at 6,000 feet. I'm going to vector us back over the VOR to intercept the 160 outbound. We're VFE next. We can go to flaps 2. We're definitely slow enough now. Where's my wing views at? There we go. I had the speed brakes out, Roby, but we were way too high. We weren't going to make it work. Maybe if I wasn't streaming and I could put all my attention into it, I might have been able to pull it out, but... Right on the border. Might get a letter from the chief pilot on this one. Okay, so... This is the radial we want to intercept. The 160 outbound. Or no, that was the inbound. I remember I changed it. That's what we want. 160. There we go. The ND... there we go. Yeah, that's the FO's ND. Alright, we're level 6,000. Here we go. A GN 114, a turn left, intercept the 160 radial outbound. You're cleared. Approach. VOR DME 09er. Alright, left turn, intercept the 160 outbound. Cleared approach, VOR DME 09, GN 114. So being resequenced, we're not going to go all the way to the VOR. But what we have to do now is intercept. So I'm flying in heading mode. This is the FO's ND, that's why I have it on the left side of it here. So I want to intercept this course outbound. So a good tip, if a nice intercept, if you look here for your full scale deflection, if you set your heading bug right there on the end of the CDI, that's about a 45-degree intercept. And actually, you want to be looking at the green diamond, because the green diamond's your ground track. So I need to fly about heading 226. Oh, wow, that came in way quicker. That's because we're close to the VOR. That was my mistake. All right, outbound we go. I'm going to set up. I know it's going to overshoot, but we're going to come back and re-intercept. It's going to look weird. Dimitri says, I'll fire the pyro up for you again. Thanks, man. Man, I don't know. That totally screwed me up. I don't know why it didn't cross the VOR at 6,000. Because it was on profile to cross at 10, but I programmed 6. I don't know if something got funky there or what. All right. Let's let that go. Right now, we got to focus on our VOR DME. So we are 3.4 miles. Oh, he doesn't have his VOR bearing. Can you turn your bearing pointers on, moron? There we go. 3.7 at 9 miles. We got to start the turn outbound. I can see my CDI coming inbound here, so I'm selected. I have to fly manually with the heading. Turn this back over. That was a little aggressive. Right about there. So I got the green diamond. That's my ground track. We're centered up now on the 160. You can see my FMS, my McDo is a little bit off. That might be a flight factorism. But we're flying selected. We're on the proper course. We are outbound 160 radial. At about 8 miles, I'm going to start my right turn inbound. Thank you for the subscribe, guys. I'm sorry I'm missing them, but I can't right now. I can't. I got to pay attention. We only have one other chance, and then we're going to be out of fuel here. All right, here comes 6.5. So at gear down, flaps 20 in the turn. This is the flaps. Don't worry about the flaps. It's a Boeing thing. But I'm going to lower the gear here and go to 150 as we make this turn. I'm going to come back to 150. Or actually, we got to be below 140. That's right, for Cat C. And there's 8 miles, so let's start our right turn. I don't need him anymore. I want my ND because I have the inbound. This is what I want to track inbound. We're going to go gear down. We're going to descend to 3,000. Open descent, speed 140. So now I'm looking off my ND. I got to keep coming all the way around, intercept this course inbound. I'm just going to set my heading bug to be about 45 degrees here. Ace says, I think you're getting a sub-bot. Yeah, maybe, man. Seems like it, doesn't it? Alright, as we make the turn, we want to be inbound 178. The needle's coming in quick. I'm going to go all the way over. I don't want to overshoot here. You can undershoot this turn. Undershooting is okay. You don't want to overshoot. I'm going to use a little speed brakes to help me get down a little faster, too. Flaps 3. I'm going to push for managed speed. VFE next minus 10, flaps full. And we are inbound. Now we're looking for that 3-mile mark. So I come back to my cheaty charts. You can see here where the airplane's position is. We're inbound. We're a little bit undershoot. Or undershot it. That's okay. As long as we establish inbound, which we are right here, we're good to go. I can see the pier down there. I'm going to leave 3,000 in the box. Let's do a landing check. This cabin crew is advised auto thrust speed. Our auto thrust is thrust idle. ECAM memo. We're going to stand by on that until we get below 2,500 RA. Once we reach our 4 mile, or is it 3 miles? That's where this chart comes in handy. 4 miles, we break it in visually. Here comes 3,000 feet. We're 6.7 miles, and we are on the course inbound. We got our needles nice and straight. I'm going to straighten it out. Speed alt star. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the autopilot.
100 above.
There's our minimums. I'm going to keep coming down now. Flight director's off. We're no longer following the flight directors. Track
Minimum.
FPA mode. Flight path angle is on. And that's it, guys. We are now inbound. 1 mile to go. We're visual. We can go all the way down. We want to cross 900 on the 240. That's what we're looking for. So let me get these boxes up here so we can see a little bit better, and I can fly. And you know what? I'm gonna use my track IR for this. So stand by. Track IR is engaged. Here comes 4.7. 4.6 miles. 4.5. XP 1972, what's going on, man? Welcome on board. Crazy flight you had there, dude. I'm sorry I missed the landing. I'm gonna have to catch the replay. Oop, there's 4 miles. I can't be talking. But that was a heck of a transcon, man. Alright, so now I'm outbound. I'm gonna put this back into arc mode so I can look at my center line fix as a reference. 325 is the approximate heading I want. 325. We got to get down a little bit. I'm going to increase rate of descent. So we are descending. Cabin signs. We forgot to turn the seatbelts back on. All right, landing check is complete. ECAM memo is landing.
1,000.
Cabin blue. There's 1,100 feet. Okay, now we can shallow it out. Easy, Tiger. Easy. There we go. We're back on.
Terrain.
There's our jip whiz
Terrain.
we talked about. That's normal. Off the 240 radial, we start our turn inbound right before the turn, just over this
500.
hill. Here we go. Turning inbound. Now, there's a white shed over there, which you can see off the nose. Get rid of those. I'm going to cross that at 400 feet. There's our runway over there. Very tight in here. Very tight in here. There's 500 feet. We're 100 feet to go. We've got to cross the shed at 400.
400.
That's RA. Don't worry about that. We're 440.
300.
We can shallow it out just a little bit there. The headwind is helping me with the descent, so we'll level off just barely here as we turn across the shed at 400. Here comes a nice bank. You're looking for that runway. Wow, that's a steep turn in there short. 2 whites, 2 reds, right on the money. No overshoot. Now we got to set her down.
200.
Nice crosswind from the left there too. I gotta be careful of that.
100.
Drop to 3 reds. That's okay. We'll hold it in.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Manual brakes. 70 knots. Whew. We can actually take this next one here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Samos. Wow, that was definitely more intensive. GM114, can you make the reverse high speed? Yeah, we can do it. We're Greek. Here we go. Reverse high speed, exit off. Wow, that was challenging. We're going to have a good debrief on that one. There's a lot of things I want to say about that approach. Let's clean it up. Clear the strobes. Wow. I don't even remember what the landing rate was. I didn't even see it, guys. I was so focused on trying not to get blown off the center line there with that wind. Well, looks like United Express has followed us over here. Whew. All right, we're going to park it right over here next to the Turkish. Now, I'm unfamiliar with all these parking signals they have. I think you just pretty much turn it in and line up on this line, right? So let's not blind everybody. Wow, that's a short turn. You gotta really crank that one over. This is where you need marshalers. I'm pretty sure this is not even how you're supposed to park here, but for my first time flying into Samos, I think it'd be acceptable. Brakes are set. Okay, we cannot shut down, so we need to go ground power connect, so I'd probably disconnect or shut down engine 2, sit here for 20 minutes. They finally get ground power connected. That's over. Check the electrical page. Electrical ground power is working. Engine 1 can come down. Seatbelt sign. Whew! It was 150? 159. Thank you. Appreciate it. Wow. All right. Definitely need to debrief that approach. There's a lot of things that happened there close in that I wanted to say, but not a bad parking job. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Samos. A little sweaty. Little bit sweaty. Let's disconnect real view because we want to study this. Real view is disconnected. Track IR is pause mode. Alright. We'll throw you guys into replay mode. And we'll start. Take a look at this. We're going to back it up even further. Let's start here. So one thing I want to talk to you guys about on this approach in here, there was about a 10 knot wind coming straight in from the north. So I ended up descending a little bit low, and it actually helped the approach though, because with that headwind, what happens to your ground speed? Your ground speed goes down. So with my ground speed being significantly reduced because of the additional headwind, I was able to make this turn in here pretty easily without having to overbank. Now the problem I had though was I got a little bit too low too fast because my ground speed was so slow. I was able to descend a little bit quicker. So that was kind of the first thing I noticed that I made a little oopsie on. But we still crossed the shed at 400 plus or minus 10 feet. I mean, that's pretty good. Here comes the turn. Radial 240 before the village. So you don't want to turn over this village. You want to make the turn right off the mountain, though. And that was good. But then right here, you see how, I mean, the airplane really lined up nicely. I even almost leveled out because of the ground speed. We were only doing 128 knots was our VREF. You know, then you take a 10, 15 knot headwind, that really slows us down. So if we were any faster, it would be significantly a little bit more challenging to time this turn up here. But let's watch. I'm curious from this view as we turn in over the white shed. I bet this is gonna look interesting. We'll get some music in here as well. Enjoy the replay since we don't have replay sounds with the Flight Factor. Hypmo says, in X-Plane, do you prefer Flight Factor at night or Toliss? Man, hey, it's up to you, dude. Whatever bird you like better. That's how I go. You're splitting hairs at this point. All right, here comes the turn. I gotta pause it right there. Wow. That is low. That is no joke. If I'm a passenger and I'm looking out right here, wow. 400 feet over the shed, though. That looks good. Roll it in. Right on the money. Right on the money. And this is where you get a lot of that turbulence because the wind's coming in over those mountains, and it creates a lot of disturbances down here near the airport. Cynic, no bourbon today, man. No, I did this, believe it or not, just with some tea. Just some straight up Texas tea, man. Good thing I wasn't drinking. Maybe I should be drinking. I seem to do a little bit better when I'm drinking. Got her down right on the markers. Get those reversers out. Oh yeah. Let's just see a few from... I want to see those beautiful reversers on touchdown. Then we can do some exterior shots. Very nice landing. You landed like a real pilot. Ha, chin, appreciate it, man. Definitely I can't float that one out. But we had plenty of runway. We were really light. I mean, I had the airplane loaded up relatively light as well. But I'm positive there's got to be a lot of restrictions coming in here. Let's watch the tower view from right here. Look at that shot. Aegean coming in 400 feet over the white shed. Andre, FS Labs, man. And I don't even have it, but I'll just tell you. Look at that. 400 feet over the white shed. Oh, that looks good. My favorite view here. Nice crab angle. I had a hard time correcting that crab angle. I was a little bit focused on getting her down. I never really straightened it out. Yeah, definitely. You see, look at that. I tried to straighten it out, but I was too late. So in real life, this is kind of rubbish. This wouldn't be very good on touchdown. So watch the rudder. So I'm crabbing into the wind. So right now, I should be applying right rudder to straighten the airplane out. But I was late. I was too focused on getting her down. So I touched down. There's a little bit of rudder, and then it was too late. It was too late. By that point, the wheels are already on the ground. Now, I did straighten it out. You just got to ride it out at that point and then get her straight. But that was definitely a little bit side-loaded on the landing there. That was a pretty piss-poor rudder job. Watch it in real time. Yeah, I was late. That rudder should have been kicked over about 2 seconds earlier. But we're down in the zone. Everything else looked good. Wow. I still had fun for sure. Let's watch, that's a little too far. Let's do I know Dougal likes this view, right? Coming in here on the wheels. Ryan says Bourbon takes the yips out. Damn straight, Ryan. Absolutely. Oh, that's a little loud. Oof. Man. There's my rudder wonkiness trying to get her straight. Reversers out. Gosh, I love this livery. I'm going to miss this livery when we leave Greece. I love this Aegean livery. Guys, I hope you guys had fun on this stream. I sure did. It was a lot of work. These short flights with a lot of high workload, I can't really get too much into the chat. I apologize for that. But I hope you guys still enjoy the content. Still enjoy seeing these videos. Definitely putting a challenge out there for myself and expanding my horizons here, flying the Airbus around Europe. I've really enjoyed Greece so far. I think we're going to repo the plane out of here, and we'll continue back up northbound. Until then, guys, until the next stream, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on this lovely Saturday. You have a good day wherever you're watching from. Until next time, I'll catch you later. B1. See ya!